Have you ever stood between two stunning lakes, looked up at snow-capped mountains, and felt like you were living inside a painting? That is exactly what Interlaken feels like. Tucked between Lake Thun and Lake Brienz in the heart of the Swiss Alps, this extraordinary town offers one of the most visually dramatic settings available anywhere in Europe, and it is far more accessible, far more varied, and far more extraordinary than most travelers ever realize before they arrive. Today, we are taking you to Interlaken, Switzerland, and by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this place belongs on every serious traveler's list. Welcome back to Dream Drive Travel. If you love discovering the world's most extraordinary destinations, you are in exactly the right place. Today we are diving deep into one of Europe's most breathtaking destinations, Interlaken, Switzerland. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we have so much more incredible travel content coming your way. To understand why Interlaken is so extraordinary, you first need to understand its geography. The town sits in a narrow flat valley between two lakes, Lake Thun to the west and Lake Brienz to the east, with the River Aare flowing directly through the center of the town, connecting the two. On every side, the Alps rise dramatically, the Eiger, the Mönch, and the Jungfrau visible to the south in a line of peaks, so dramatic and so famous that they have been drawing travelers to this valley for over 200 years. The three peaks of the Jungfrau region, the Eiger, the Mönch, and the Jungfrau herself, are among the most iconic mountain silhouettes in the world, and from the center of Interlaken, on a clear day, they are simply there, present, enormous, close enough to feel genuinely immediate. The town itself has been a tourist destination since the early 19th century, one of the earliest alpine resort towns in Europe, and the architecture reflects that long history of welcoming visitors. The traditional Swiss chalets and grand Victorian era hotels that line the main avenue, the Höheweg, were built to serve the 19th century travelers who came from across Europe specifically to see the mountains and the lakes. The Höheweg itself, a long, flat promenade running between the two train stations, is lined with manicured lawns, flower gardens, and hotels of remarkable variety, from small family-run guest houses to grand establishments that have been welcoming guests for over a century. Walking it on a clear morning, with the Jungfrau visible at the end of the avenue framed between the buildings on either side, is one of those travel experiences that is genuinely difficult to improve upon. The lakes on either side of Interlaken are completely different in character, and this difference is one of the most interesting and most underappreciated things about the town's setting. Lake Thun to the west is larger, more open, and surrounded by lower, greener hills, with the town of Thun at its western end, and a series of beautiful lakeside villages along its shores. Lake Brienz to the east is narrower, deeper, and surrounded by steeper, more dramatic mountains, its water a shade of extraordinary turquoise green produced by glacial meltwater flowing into it from the mountains above, a color so vivid that it seems almost artificial. Both lakes are navigable by boat, and the lake steamer services that connect Interlaken with the towns along each shore are one of the most beautiful and most leisurely ways to experience the landscape of this region. The River Aare, flowing between the two lakes through the center of Interlaken, adds another dimension to the town's remarkable water-dominated character. The river is extraordinarily clear, glacier-fed, fast-moving, a vivid blue-green even in the center of town, and the walking and cycling paths that run along its banks are among the most pleasant in any alpine town in Switzerland. In summer, locals and visitors swim in the Aare. The current is strong enough to carry swimmers downstream with minimal effort, and the clarity and color of the water make the experience genuinely extraordinary. Swimming in a glacial river in the center of a mountain town, with the Alps visible above the rooftops on every side. This is one of those experiences specific to Interlaken that exists nowhere quite like this anywhere else. The surrounding region, the Jungfrau region, is one of the most extraordinary concentrations of alpine scenery anywhere in the world. From Interlaken, a network of mountain railways and cable cars provides access to destinations at every elevation, from the lakeside villages just above the water level to the Jungfraujoch, the highest railway station in Europe at over 11,000 feet, where the panorama of glaciers and high alpine peaks is of an entirely different order from anything visible at valley level. The journey to the Jungfraujoch, through tunnels bored directly through the Eiger and Mönch, is itself one of the most extraordinary railway experiences in Europe, and the view from the top, on a clear day, is simply one of the finest available from any easily accessible point in the Alps. Below the high alpine destinations, the mountain villages of the Jungfrau region offer their own particular quality of beauty. Grindelwald, the glacier village, sitting beneath the north face of the Eiger, is one of the most dramatically positioned villages in Europe. Its traditional wooden buildings arranged across a slope with the Eiger rising almost directly behind them, in a wall of rock and snow of genuinely intimidating scale. Lauterbrunnen, the waterfall valley, where over 70 waterfalls descend from the cliffs on either side of a narrow valley floor, is one of the most extraordinary natural landscapes in Switzerland, a place where the combination of the waterfalls, the cliffs, the green valley floor, and the snow-covered peaks visible above the cliff tops creates a visual experience of such compressed and varied beauty that it has been inspiring artists and travelers for centuries. Wengen and Mürren, two car-free villages perched on the slopes above Lauterbrunnen, accessible only by mountain railway or cable car, offer a quality of alpine experience that is increasingly rare in modern Europe. Without cars, without the noise and smell of road traffic, these villages preserve a quality of quiet and a quality of mountain atmosphere that belongs to an earlier era of alpine travel. In winter, they sit at the heart of the Jungfrau ski region, one of the finest ski areas in the Alps, and in summer, they are the starting points for hiking trails of extraordinary beauty that run through meadows of wildflowers, past traditional farm buildings, with the great peaks visible above in every direction. The best time to visit Interlaken depends entirely on what you are looking for. In summer, from June through September, the weather is warmest, the hiking trails are fully open, and the lakes are at their most vivid and most inviting. This is also the most popular period, and the town and its surrounding villages can become genuinely crowded, particularly in July and August. In winter, from December through March, the Jungfrau ski region is in full operation. The mountains are snow-covered, and the town itself takes on a completely different character, quieter, more local, with the dramatic winter light on the peaks producing some of the most extraordinary alpine photography conditions available anywhere in Europe. Spring and autumn, when the crowds have thinned, the prices are lower, and the landscape transitions between its seasonal extremes offer perhaps the most genuinely rewarding visits for travelers who want to experience Interlaken's extraordinary setting without the full pressure of peak season. What ultimately makes Interlaken so compelling is not any single thing, not the lakes, not the mountains, not the river, not the villages, not the railways, but the accumulation of all of them together in a single valley of such concentrated natural richness that it is genuinely difficult to exhaust. Travelers who come for a weekend often find themselves extending their stay. Travelers who come once almost universally come back, and travelers who dismiss it as a tourist destination, which it undeniably is, and look more carefully at what the tourist infrastructure actually provides access to, find themselves standing at the top of a glacier, or swimming in a glacial river, or sitting in a meadow of wildflowers, above a waterfall valley with the Eiger above them, thinking that this is one of the most extraordinary places they have ever been. So, which part of Interlaken are you most excited to explore? Is it the turquoise waters of Lake Brienz, the dramatic views of the Jungfrau, the car-free alpine villages of Wengen and Mürren, or swimming in the glacier-fed River Aare right in the heart of town? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing what excites you most about a destination before you visit. Thank you for watching Dream Drive Travel. If this video inspired you to add Interlaken to your travel list, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to see this place. And as always, keep dreaming and keep driving.